Hugh Freeze's presser on Monday actually meant something, and it kind of told us we weren't too far off.
Freezing temperatures are likely for several hours inland and a few hours closer to the coast.
Yes.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. And thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining us as he does every single Tuesday, because it's a Charlie Tuesday, we're joined by Auburn message board legend, the Charlie 5. And look, Hugh Freeze's Monday's pressers up to this point, they've been pretty routine. What we saw yesterday was, I think, a breath of fresh air. And we've talked about how candid he is, how open he is, and how he truly answers questions. And I think him coming out yesterday saying, yes, the offense stunk, it wasn't very good, and talking about all the issues with the offensive game plan and admitting, hey, we wanted to run the football against Cal, and we weren't able to. And I think it just kind of shows like we're not too far off about what our thoughts on this team actually are, Charlie 5.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a lot of people I've been hearing think that Hugh's got this idea, like this grand idea of like all these different things he wants to do. And I think it's pretty simple. Yeah. We don't quite know. We got a whole bunch of new guys. We don't quite know 100% where we are. And you kind of felt like maybe you could go in there maybe a little bit overconfident and could just run the ball down their throat. And it didn't work. They loaded the box, and now you kind of have to, but the good news is now, you kind of know where you are now. Like, there's no surprise. There's no surprise. And we had this tough road test. We came out with a win, and he basically said we flat out sucked, basically. And I like that. I like that. I don't like coach speak. I like it when you just come out and say it, and he definitely came out and said it.
Yeah, it wasn't something, we're just going to get back in there and work harder this week. It was yes, what we did on Saturday, was it good enough? And we are desperately trying to fix that and make sure that it doesn't happen again. He talked about accountability of the coaching staff and how everybody in the room has an assistant and you need to use them, rely on the GA, go to all these people. He needs to be going to his coordinators. Coordinators need to be going to these assistants. And I think that's good. I think it's exactly what this needs, because we like the staff. This staff is good enough to put together a good game plan.
Sure.
But I do think there is some concern with the honesty of, not concerned with the honesty, but the fact that, okay, you thought you could run the football, then you didn't. And it's clear, right? I mean, Daryl and I talked about this in the post-game show that we did. They ran it the first two plays with Jarquez. It was a third and medium. Peyton gave it away. They get the ball back. They run it two more times. Third and medium. They don't convert. And then they kind of panic. They throw Robbie in to run. And it's like, okay, we're not going to be able to run the ball. And then they didn't really have a backup plan.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they're in that situation again this year.
No, I can't either. I said it earlier. It was a case of we were a little bit overconfident, maybe not 100% knew what we had in the running game. And you go out there and you want to feed Jarquez because it's his first game back. And
he's hungry.
He's hungry. If we give him the first two carries, he's probably going to bust one. But they were bound and determined to not let us run the ball. They were daring us to throw the ball. And I don't know how hard it is to just adjust and throw in a whole new game plan mid game.
You have to prepare for that.
Sure.
It's like, if this doesn't work, what are we going to do? And it didn't really seem like they did that. And we've talked about this with Hugh Freeze, with halftime adjustments. And there really wasn't any halftime adjustments offensively that I could tell. They had a great drive where they let Peyton actually throw the football consistently, and Rivaldo was able to actually make plays. And we haven't really seen these pass catchers be put in situations to make plays. And we'll talk about the pass catchers in a second. But the lack of adjustments is kind of concerning, because I don't think they put themselves in a situation to do that, because I think they were so set on their ability to run the ball. And I'm with them. I thought they were going to be able to run the ball too. And that's fine. You can go in there with that. But you've got to have that backup plan. And I think I don't think they'll be that ill prepared for a game again this season. I'm calling it.
I could not have been more wrong either about the way that game played out.
Sure.
I said pound the over. I didn't think either one of us could stop either one of us, and it turned out to be the complete opposite. So again, I don't know. I don't think that we're gonna see a. I'm hoping we go ahead and air it out a little bit against Samford and spread the ball around and get some sustained drives. And then if you need to punch one in and we can sub in the package, and I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I hope to see that, but like I don't know that I think we learned a ton. I think we learned a ton Saturday, and I'm hoping moving forward that you take a lot of that and you're able to sort of build. I mean, you got to really think about this. You're talking brand new offense, brand new quarterback, brand new receivers, several. I mean, offensive.
I hate this argument that you're making right here. I hate it.
Why?
Because then you turn on and watch Colorado, and this doesn't happen. They've got more new players.
They do. They have a ton of players. You're right.
Now, their quarterback went through spring with them. That's the biggest difference.
He brought a lot of players that have played together too. That's another thing. So a lot of players came that have played together. So again, you had guys that came in the summer, not in December.
I understand.
Starters that came in before you could even have actual practices. So there is.
I'm sorry, but that argument is more about the players. I don't think the players were the issue Saturday night.
Well, see, I think that's where we may differ. And I think you're seeing it in the next thing we're going to talk about, wide receiver targets, things like that, guys that we brought in that we thought may be your guy, your quarterback, that, you know, the everything that goes along with that coming in the summer. It definitely plays in. So
you think it was more execution than game plan?
No, I think it's both. I think you had a perfect back shoulder fade thrown to Amari Kelly, who hit him right in the hands, and he dropped it. Like that. That's a first down.
But I would argue that shouldn't have gone to Amari Kelly.
I would argue that too. I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. But like again, I think there's a little bit of. I think it's a little bit of it all. I think it's execution and game plan. I don't like running it twice to start the game. And then putting Peyton in, to come save us on third and long, or there's a lot of stuff that I didn't like. I think we kind of got a little panicky, and
I agree with that.
We couldn't really reel it in.
I agree with that, especially with the quarterback rotation. We'll touch on that in a little bit as well. Another thing from the presser that I thought was interesting is, he kind of dug his heels in and said Robbie is going to have a package. Robbie gets touches. And I mean, that's been a big talking point, right? And it'll continue to be, I think, unless one of them just turns into a superstar this year. I don't think this conversation is going to go away. But yeah, he kind of dug his heels in the ground. So no, Robbie, the package for Robbie is going to stay. And I'm still in a situation where if you use it like you did against UMass, I'm fine with it. If he's red zone Robbie or short yardage Robbie, I'm all about it. But I don't think you can bring him in for 3 or 4 plays to just get to jolt the offense when you can't run the ball. I don't think it helped Robbie. I don't think it helped Peyton. I don't think it helped the Auburn offense the way that was utilized Saturday night.
Sure. And then when you get into a situation where with Peyton, it's like the chicken or the egg argument. Is Peyton out of rhythm because we're swapping in and out, or are we swapping in and out because Peyton's out of rhythm? Like we don't know which one it is. It never works. I said it to start the thing. If you want to go like specialize, if it's specialized, we're skipping a section, but I'm going to go ahead and pound it right now.
Go ahead.
I want Robbie to touch the ball. Robbie is the most electric athlete on our offense, period. Okay. There's not a wide receiver. There's not a running back. Maybe Cobb has a little bit of that explosiveness that he does there, but there's nobody close.
We're splitting hairs here. Robbie's very dynamic. No question.
Yeah, exactly. You got to figure out how to get in the ball. Like I'm cool with that. I'm totally cool with that. It can't be on 1st and 10 on your own 40 in the middle of a drive. Like that can't work. It's not going to work. And then you run 2 times and it's 3rd and 8. Then you throw the passing quarterback out there to throw when everybody knows he's going to throw. It's just, I don't know. Again, I think they panicked. They want to get Robbie touches, and the guy, it's got to be better. It's got to be better.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go out of your way to get Robbie's touches. The situations will come up on their own if you run the offense and get into the red zone. And then it's like, okay, Robbie, come pound this in. But that's not really what we saw on Saturday. So the wide receiver targets and the wide receiver receptions, concerning to me.
Yep.
And I think it's a very easy fix. We'll discuss that in just a moment right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at Active Wealth Management. Do you like money, Charlie 5?
I love money.
Do you love investing, Charlie 5?
I love that as well. I love that.
Yeah, it's even better when other people do it for you. And, things can happen. He's giving away his free book. Our friend at Active Wealth Management, his name is Fort Stokes. We love him dearly. He's also giving, free book, annuity360.net. I'm holding it. I love it. It is what it is. You can also go to activewealth.com to see all the different kind of things that they can do for you, whether it's, estate planning or investments or retirement or annuities, whatever it may be. Be sure to check that out. Get that free book, annuity360.net. Charlie 5, quick thoughts on this. Go.
I can't learn enough about annuities. Tell me, let me watch Auburn football highlights and give me a book on annuities, and I'm a happy guy.
I think those are the two things: Auburn wins and annuities. And they definitely overlap for sure. Annuity360.net for the free book. Be sure to check it out. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Charlie 5, can you imagine buying a ticket anywhere else?
Absolutely not.
No way. No way. I've bought several tickets now through the Game Time app. Of course, download it on your phone's app store. It's great. And it's like you're sitting in your seat when you are looking at the tickets. You get a vantage point of the field. And I think it's great. I think it's awesome. It's like, oh, this is a little too far in the corner. I want to scoot one section over. It's only like $10 more. It's totally worth it. You can do that with Game Time. So be sure to use the Game Time app, download it, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Can you imagine spending full price for a ticket if you're a first-time user of Game Time? No.
Can't. Dumb. Don't do it.
Can't. Don't be like me. Actually, remember to use a promo code the first time you use it. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. Charlie 5, I think when you look at the target disparity, the market share of who is being targeted, it's not the wide receivers. And what did we talk about the strength of what this wide receiver room should be, could be throughout all of fall camp? Spread it out.
Spread it out.
Spread the love. Make them cover everybody. We're not really seeing that. We're not really seeing that. In fact, Hugh Freeze's presser yesterday talked about 5 and 6. Jay Fair, Javarius Johnson. So the way the targets fell Saturday night, 4 went to Rivaldo Fairweather, 4 went to Jay Fair, 2 went to Damari, 2 went to Javarius Johnson, and 2 to Jarquez. And then Jair Shorter and Amari Kelly both got 1. Neither of them caught the ball. Those thrown their way. And for some reason, I didn't know this, but for some reason, Hooks is not being credited for the target, even though it hit his hands and it bounced off of him. I don't really know the rule on that. Is that because, is it not a target if it's intercepted? I don't know why that would be the case, but somebody knows why that is. I'd like to know. But I was asked about that on a radio hit yesterday, and I didn't know the answer. Or did somebody just mess up? Did somebody just mess up?
It's probably somebody who's messed up.
Pretty big play to mess up, but whatever. That's fine. So, but of all of these, you had 3 receptions by wide receivers. Jay Fair had 2 on 4 targets. Javarius Johnson had 1 reception on 2 targets. And like we said, Jair Shorter and Amari Kelly did not catch their intended pass. And we'll put Shane Hooks in there as well. He obviously did not catch his either. It doesn't feel like they were really trying to get any other receivers involved. Are you concerned about this at all? Because I think it's easy to fix this. I think game plan can work this out in just a week.
Look, I think I'm with you. I'm with you a little bit. Okay. I'm with you that I think the game plan has a lot to do with it. I think scripted, easy, quick passes, things like that. You can spread the ball around and then kind of get an idea. If that is your game plan, but that was not what our game plan was. And so then, I keep going back to being a little bit of panicky, but on the flip side, I don't know that we're as I don't want to say talented. I don't know that we're quite as deep and as ready as we thought we were going to be in the wide receiver room, especially on the outside.
Sure.
The two guys on the inside, like you said, 6 and 5, those dudes can play. They get open. They get separation. I love that crossing. I love the crossing route we ran on Jay Fair's touchdown. I don't know why we never went back to it. Stuff like that is great. But for whatever reason, I'm not sure that we're getting the separation that we need on the outside from a hooks, from a shorter. Shorter looks like he has 2 guys on him every time the camera's on him. And it's because I'm not sure that either the game plan or him himself just can't seem to get much separation. But yeah, we kind of bragged and we felt like we really flipped that room, and I'm still not 100% sure that we have. Now maybe game planning changes that, but I don't know. I'm still sort of the jury's still out for me on the receiver room, the additions, who we have here, and the actual overall talent of that room moving forward.
I'm just going to ask the question. There's actually a few questions I'm going to ask you. The first is still on the receivers. Nick Marner was with the ones every time we got a chance to watch practice, and he hasn't been there.
True.
Did they expect him to be a bigger part of this receiving game than we realize? I'm just playing devil's advocate here. I'm just asking the question.
I mean, it's got to be at least a factor. I'm like you said, he's with the ones the whole time. And
he got a ton of reps. He was the first to go through drills a lot of the practices we were able to see. I mean, he seemed to be a leader in that room.
Sure. I'm with you.
Asking the question.
It's a fair question.
As far as, is it a J Fair question? I'm so sorry. As far as play calling goes.
Yep.
Hugh Freeze said at his presser yesterday, he called 3 of the plays. One of those was that sweet, beautiful fade that went for a touchdown by Rivaldo Fairweather from Peyton Thorne.
Oh, boy.
Do you think we see more play calls by Hugh Freeze? Or do you think he so believes in his guys, he's going to say, no, we're just going to change our approach. We're going to change how we game plan and maybe the communication, and we'll see what happens. Because if you do this again against Texas A&M, like, you lose in College Station.
Oh, you're gonna have a lot of problems.
It'd be bad. Yeah.
Look, I had this thought, and I discussed it with a couple of friends during the game, and Cole Pinkston kind of hinted on it too.
I love Cole Pinkston.
And then Hugh, with On 3, and then Hugh said some things in the press conference that led me to believe there's a little bit of confirmation on this. Look, Hugh has tried to kickstart this recruiting. He hired dudes on both sides of the ball. Shout out to Ron Roberts, who's a freaking stud. And then he hired Philip Montgomery, and he sort of stepped back. And I think he said in his press conference he was going to spend a little bit more time in offensive meetings. The quarterback rotation is not what he expected. Stuff like that, and it's like, okay, maybe Hugh's off. He's never not called plays. I'm not saying that I want him to call plays, but I definitely want him to be more involved. So
if there's another Cal incident, I want him to call plays.
Oh, sure. I mean, you have to, at that point in time, you have to, and we know he likes fades. I want him in there. You know what I mean? He wants to throw a fade on the 5. Sorry, that probably hurts. What's his Thomas Dickey? Is shout out?
He comments on the YouTube videos. Yes.
Yeah, he hates fades. And I know he was sick. He was sick late Sunday morning. But no, I mean, I wonder if him just sort of being that CEO and getting disconnected from the offense. I wonder if you're going to start seeing a little bit of a change there, and him being more involved. Hopefully, that yields a lot more explosion. I want some explosion. Please, why can't Auburn have a 3,000-yard passer? That's just blows my mind. Like, now Thorne's going to have to throw for like 400 yards a game to get there.
It's tough. Yeah,
he's way behind the 8 ball. I don't get it. I want to see us light the scoreboard up. Like, I
think he's last of all the 14 starters in the SEC in passing yards. I think
totally. Now, again, I wonder where he is on attempts too. Probably
lower. Yeah,
probably lower on the low end too. So
and his percentage is fine. His percentage is like with all the other ones.
I think
it's 61 right now.
Yeah, exactly, which is fine and good enough to win.
His numbers on third down are pretty solid too. I saw I think Stat Tiger tweeted that out. It's like his passer rating on third down against Cal was way better than his passer rating on third down against UMass. So it's just, I don't think he's really been given the opportunity to do it, because it's like once they opened it up and let him throw it consistently, he was 4 for 4 with a touchdown pass.
And that was with 2 sacks. That was with 2 sacks on that drive. Like, a lot of dudes would wilt. You know what I mean? He got sacked immediately and then came in on 3rd and 17 and hit Rivaldo with that back shoulder, which Rivaldo made an unbelievable catch. Yeah. To me, the back shoulder catches are all of them are unbelievable catches, but that one in particular was great. So yeah, I'm hoping he can just come out and let it rip. Like, I feel like you got to have that. I'm fine with some red zone stuff, but I feel like you just got to give him the ball and let him go and let him figure it out and win or lose with it. I said it Saturday night. You got to pick one and win or lose with them. Like, you got to just go with it, like 100%. And I'm hoping we see that.
So in a second, we'll talk about Samford. Can we learn anything from this Saturday's game? I think there's a few things. I don't think there's a lot. But before we do that, I want to ask you a very important question.
Yes.
That the Auburn fan base is dying to know. And that question coming up in just a moment, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is the best place to wager on all of your sports action. You get ready for the NFL season. They've got incredible offers with America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can bet $5, and they get $200 back in bonus bets, guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and UTV. That $5 you can turn into like $300. Just saying, pretty good deal. So it's the best time to join FanDuel. The app's super easy to use. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Charlie 5, my question to you. When Peyton Thorne threw the fade to Rivaldo Fairweather,
boy,
all of Auburn Twitter was then focused on one person. And it wasn't Rivaldo Fairweather or Peyton Thorne. It was Charlie 5. It was you. And so I want you, in as much detail as you feel comfortable giving, describe that moment for you. And just the level of euphoria that you went through.
Let me tell you what. If it was not, the only downside is that it happened at like 1:30 in the morning. That's the only downside. And I was struggling. Sure. But when you have two worlds collide like that, you have the fade in general. I'll take a fade to a backup. I'll take a fade to a walk on. You know what I mean? And then it's to, my one true love on this whole team, Rivaldo Fairweather, and he absolutely mosses that child like it was not even that hard. Like, he didn't even really have to jump. He just was like up there, and I'm better than you, and here I got it. Like, the elation that I felt, like I can't even imagine. I can't really even put it to words. And then to have everybody kind of give me the little head nod on Twitter, that was absolutely I said Twitter is melting right now. It's absolutely that was even better. That made it even sweeter. But imagine two of your dreams combining at one time, like one moment in time. Like,
I get it. I get it.
Feel.
Yeah, when New England signed Cam Newton, I will always remember what that felt like. I always will. I feel like this is similar. So congratulations. Yeah, so many people were tweeting at you, and I'm like, I didn't even know this person listened to the show. Like, that's incredible. So very cool. Congratulations. Not to Rivaldo, but
I feel like I called the pass. I feel like I had a part in that. Like, I maybe Hugh remembered an episode. Surely that
he was a big fan of the show. He loves Charlie Tuesdays.
And he's like, oh, wait, we're inside the 10. I can throw at least one fade.
We know he called that play too. So he said, Philip, hold on, Philip, with one L.
He said, I remember.
This message board legend guy said we should throw a fade here. So please, let's just do it.
Let's just do it 3 times. Let's see what happens.
But we only needed to do it once. So how great is that?
Exactly. We're 1 for 1 inside the 10.
What do you think you influence more? The touchdown fade to Rivaldo Fairweather or Eugene Asante buttoning its top button?
Oh, man. gosh, that's like picking
two really influential moments from you.
That's like picking a favorite child. I mean, I don't know how to do that. I think I got to go with the fade just because of all the everything coming together in one explosion of emotion. So
yeah,
the top button is pretty sweet though.
Just real quick, what can we learn from the Samford game this weekend? Outside of communication, I don't know if there's a whole lot, honestly.
The only thing I think you can learn if you see if you see a little bit of change in maybe we start to try to develop an identity. Maybe
I like that.
A little bit more run, play action, a little not just this vanilla try to pound people out. Like I would love to see some deep balls early, some throws over the middle, stuff like that. Like we're trying to start to kind of build an identity.
I like that.
I think you can do that against Samford. And I think you really need to, because you got to have an idea of where you can be good, especially when you go on the road at Texas A&M, who I think is very beatable.
Me too. But you got to be able to throw the ball.
Van Dyke threw it all over him.
Yes.
He threw for like 1,000,000 yards. He's not even that. I mean, I don't even think he's that great of a quarterback, but he just lit him up. Like,
sure,
it's there. It's there. So
I'm with you. Yeah. And so maybe we see some of that. Then the other side of the coin is, do you not do that and try to catch A&M off guard? Who knows? Who knows? We'll discuss that more on tomorrow's show. Charlie 5, how can people check out everything you've got going on, including giving you love? Tweeting at you about fade routes, and how can people button their top button?
Absolutely. So you button your top button just by literally buttoning your top button. It's pretty simple.
Got it. Most people stop before that. That's a good tip.
Exactly. You can follow me on Twitter at @the_Charlie_5 in the Locked On Auburn Discord every single day. AuburnLive.com, the corner message board, or weekly pod, golf pod.
Your internet made it so close. We almost made it all the way through. Be a Locked On Auburn insider by clicking the link in the episode description down below. We'll see you tomorrow. This has been Locked On Auburn.